Small business hacks, 100 shortcuts to success. Hack 12, how to form an effective advisory board. It is lonely at the top. Running your own business can be a very isolating activity with no one to objectively discuss strategy. Many entrepreneurs turn to their lawyer, accountant, or consultant for this type of help, but get real relief. A better solution: create an outside advisory board of directors. This is not a legal board elected by the shareholders that come with fiduciary responsibilities. Rather, this is a board of 3 to 5 outside advisors who are selected by you to offer advice, guidance, and direction on key issues. Here's how to create an advisory board. 1. Formulate a strategic plan before setting up the board. If your company does not have a plan about where it is going or what it wants to achieve, then the board will not know the goal with which to measure their actions. Having a plan ensures everyone is headed in the same consistent direction. 2. Find complementary skills. You need board members who match your organization. This includes not only industry expertise, but marketing, finance, and distribution knowledge. Look for advisory members with skills in areas where you and your team are particularly weak. 3. Build agendas around the three, five, 3 to 5 biggest issues of the year. Set focus goals on a limited number of topics that can help you this year. Being overly ambitious will dilute results. 4. Make sure the board members are prepared. Send out material to the board members at least 2 weeks before meetings. The quality of the advice the board gives is based on the information they receive. As is so many other things, garbage in, garbage out. This also ensures that not only are the board members prepared, but you are as well. 5. You or your CEO must run the meeting. An outside consultant or board member should never lead an advisory meeting. When you run the meeting, you are more likely to get the results you want. 6. Discuss the time needs to exceed presentation time. Data dumps are not particularly useful to anyone. Limit the time allocated to presentations and the length of any PowerPoints. The focus should be the discussion among the board members. 7. Give access to senior management. Do not hide your management team from the board. A lot can be learned about company dynamics by taking directly to them. 8. Don't be afraid of conflict. It is normal for business groups to shy away from conflict. However, conflict can be vital to a productive discussion and add to the company of the group. Chemistry, not chemistry of the group. The key is to learn how to fight nice. 9. Do an assessment of the meetings right after the meeting. Get immediate feedback on how the meeting went. Self-assessment and monitoring is a key to an effective group. 10. Pay your board advisors. Most board members get paid about $1,000 per meeting. Paying this small honorarium will ensure attendance and productivity of the board. So there's a lot to unpack in this hack, so I may or may not do a separate video coming back to this to kind of dive deeper into some of the sections. But having an advisory board is definitely um, a good idea because it's basically like having a mentor, but instead of having a single mentor, it's having a group of mentors. Um, Another way of thinking of it is it sort of be like having a mastermind, but the mastermind is for um, business and specifically helping your business become more efficient and productive in certain areas to kind of help focus things so you can improve your business. So obviously, there were 10 different points on, um, about having an effective advisory board. Um, so, find complementary skills was number two. This kind of seems like a theme in business. If you're the CEO or owner of a business, and you're good at running a business, but you're not necessarily good at sales or you're not good at marketing, well, you're not going to head up sales and marketing while trying to run the business. You're going to hire someone to do sales and or marketing. Um, or if you're someone that's good at starting a business, but maybe not as good at managing a business, you might do the legwork of coming up with the idea and starting a business and then hiring someone, a CEO to manage the business for you. So, in much the same way, if you end up having an advisory board to kind of help um, make things more efficient by getting information from someone that's knowledgeable about an area that you're maybe weaker in, you can bring in this information in and then say, oh, I like this, and this. Here's how I'm going to apply it in my business. Um, so you're kind of covering your weaknesses by um, bringing in people with more expertise than yourself. Um, Number three was building a agenda around the 3 to 5 biggest issues for the year. So just having an agenda for your meetings with your advisory boards that sets the focus and not just like, okay, we're gonna show up and this person A is gonna you know talk about something and then get on a tangent and then person C might talk and then I go back to A and person B might talk and then like it might jump around and not be focused or coherent. But if you set an agenda, by having an agenda that helps focus things or narrow things down to, okay, this is what's important, and if we get on a tangent, okay, well, you're over here, and let's corral things back to what we came here. Okay, we, um, are operating at a loss. How can we get more sales? How can we market better to get more customers coming into the sales funnel to then convert into more sales? How can we look at, is there a way to cut anything in the budget to make things leaner? Just narrow things down. That's when having an agenda can be important. Um, Number 9 was do an assessment of the meeting right after the meeting. And it talked about getting feedback. It's interesting that, um, Hack 12 talked about getting feedback, and Section 12 from the Entrepreneur Mind was talking about criticism and disagreement. And criticism can be another way of getting feedback. It's just criticism and feedback are sometimes looked at in different lights depending on who's giving it, who's receiving it, and how it's communicated. So, criticism normally has a more negative way of coming off, and it might not be in the intention, but criticism normally comes off negative, whereas feedback could potentially be seen more positively. Um, and I guess, there's ways of giving constructive criticism, which kind of is a more smooth way of, um, delivering the criticism, where it might constructive criticism might come off more like giving feedback. Um, so yeah, where there's so much to unpack in Hack 12, how to form an effective advisory board. I might come back to this in the near future. Hopefully, you found some value in this. Thanks, and have a good day.